progress made towards Israeli ceasefire in Lebanon. Next leader of Britain's opposition party to be announced tomorrow. Thanks for choosing World Today with me, Renee Fong. Good afternoon. United States Secretary Antony Blinken said on Thursday that negotiators have made good progress towards a deal that would bring a ceasefire in Israel's offensive in Lebanon. The top U.S. diplomat said that Washington was working very hard on concluding arrangements on a deal that would include the withdrawal of Hezbollah from the border region with Israel. Two senior U.S. officials, Amos Hochstein and Brett McGurk, met on Thursday with Benjamin Netanyahu, who said that any deal on Lebanon must guarantee Israel's security. Unlike in the year-old war in Gaza, the United States has stopped short of calling for an immediate ceasefire in Lebanon and has largely backed Israeli strikes against Hezbollah. While voicing concern for the fate of civilians, Blinken called again for implementation of UN Security Council Resolution 1701, dating from 2006, which calls for the disarmament of non-state groups in Lebanon and full Israeli withdrawal from the country. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, speaking alongside Blinken and their South Korean counterpart, said there was an opportunity in Lebanon. North Korea flexed its military muscle with the test of a huge new solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile dubbed Hwasong-19 amid international uproar over its troops deployed to aid Russia in Ukraine. State-run television KCNA aired a video footage of the test, lauding it as the world's strongest strategic missile. The launch on Thursday flew higher than any previous North Korean missile, according to the North, as well as militaries in South Korea and Japan that tracked its flight deep into space before it splashed down in the ocean between Japan and Russia. While questions remain over North Korea's ability to guide such a missile and protect a nuclear warhead as it re-enters the atmosphere, the Hwasong-19, like North Korea's other latest ICBMs, demonstrated the range to strike nearly anywhere in the United States. Thursday's missile launch, just days before next week's pivotal U.S. presidential election, drew swift condemnation from Washington and its allies in South Korea, Japan, and Europe. KCNA said the Hwasong-19 will deploy alongside the Hwasong-18, which was first launched last year and is also powered by solid fuel. Solid fuel missiles do not need to be fueled immediately ahead of launch, are often easier and safer to operate, and require less logistical support, making them harder to detect than liquid fuel weapons. The United States said up to 8,000 North Korean troops have reached Russia's border region with Ukraine trained and ready for combat. Seeking advantage in his grinding invasion of Ukraine, President Vladimir Putin has brought in troops and military hardware from North Korea, the first time Russia has invited foreign forces on its soil in more than a century. Deputy U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Robert Wood, told the Security Council that some 8,000 of the 10,000 North Korean troops believed to be in Russia have made their way to the Kursk border region.
It is not hard to miss the irony of Russia calling this meeting just as 10,000 soldiers from the DPRK deploy in Russia to train and potentially join Russian forces against Ukraine. We just received some information just coming in minutes ago that indicates that there are right now 8,000 DPRK soldiers in Kursk Oblast. And I have a very respectful question for my Russian colleague. Does Russia still maintain that there are no DPRK troops in Russia? That's my only question and my final point. Thank you.
The Russian representative in the 15-member Security Council at the time did not respond to wood. Moscow has neither denied nor directly confirmed the presence of North Korean troops. After an initial denial, North Korea has since defended the idea of deploying troops as being in line with international law. South Korean police, provincial officials and residents converged in a village near the border with North Korea on Thursday to thwart a planned release of balloons carrying anti-North Korean leaflets by the families of people believed to have been abducted in the north. Cross-border leaflets have been at the center of recent tensions between the two Koreas. North Korea has been sending thousands of balloons carrying trash and propaganda in what it says is retaliation for long-time releases by activists in the south who send leaflets, Bibles, food, South Korean media or other items. Activists urge Pyongyang to stop its loudspeakers and balloon launches and vowed to send the leaflets into the north next time after being stopped by the authorities and residents. A large police presence was placed in the area as counter-protesters chanted to discourage the act. Earlier this month, Gyeonggi province bordering North Korea vowed to crack down on the practice of flying anti-regime leaflets to the north by activists, citing heightened tensions and risks it poses to border town residents. The next leader of Britain's opposition Conservative Party will be announced tomorrow after current leader and former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced he would step down earlier this year. Party members nationwide will choose between former Business and Trade Minister Kemi Badenoch and former Immigration Minister Robert Jenrick. In a vote earlier this month which eliminated former Interior Minister James Cleverly, Badenoch came first with 42 out of 120 votes, with Jenrick coming a close second on 41 votes. Whoever becomes leader will be charged with turning around the fortunes of a party that had governed Britain alone or in coalition since 2010, but which suffered its worst defeat in the July election when Labour won a landslide victory. The final two candidates both say they will reunite a party that became mired in chaos, scandal and deep divisions over Brexit during its last 8 years in government. They pledged to return to its Conservative roots to offer an alternative to Labour at the next national election, which must take place by mid-2029. Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on Thursday urged citizens in the flooded areas to remain at home and listen to emergency services recommendations. Spain issued another storm warning on Thursday for part of the Valencia region devastated by floods that have killed at least 95 people as rescuers scoured flooded fields and stranded cars for those still missing.
La dana continúa y que por favor se queden en casa, que no salgan, que se queden en casa, que atiendan a todas las llamadas de los servicios de emergencia, que atiendan todos sus requerimientos, todas sus recomendaciones, porque ahora mismo lo más importante es salvaguardar el número de vidas posible.
During a visit to the Emergency Command Center in La Iliana, 16 kilometers away from Valencia city, Sanchez said the Spanish government will keep providing the necessary resources for searching for the missing people as long as necessary. Local authorities have not disclosed how many people are still unaccounted for after Europe's deadliest floods in years. Media practitioners must always be careful in determining the legitimacy and delivery of a news item. Sensitive issues like war usually have a lot of propaganda and false information spread. Wan Luqman Muhammad Fiso brings you the details.
According to the Director General of the NGO Pialara Palestine, Hania Bitar, internet and information restrictions and targeted attacks on media practitioners in Gaza cause many of the realities of civilian suffering as a result of the war there not to reach public knowledge. She, who was also a panelist in one of the sessions at UNESCO's 2024 Global Media Information Literacy MIL conference, also urged Malaysians to continue to stand in solidarity with the plight of the Palestinians.
So I hope from you people in Malaysia to always stand for justice, to stand for people who are being killed, whose genocide is practiced against them, and to really speak up and demonstrate and refuse what you really makes you really feel as human beings. So before you go to bed, you have to feel that at least you did something to help people out, especially in Palestine and in Gaza.
Meanwhile, Assistant Director General for Communications and Information UNESCO Taufik Jalasi said this conference reflects the commitment of the UN, media practitioners and digital content creators for safer information security. This media and literacy initiative is to ensure that no one is left behind in digital age. This Global Media and Literacy Week gave an insight what media practitioner and digital content creator to be more responsible, create awareness, and leading the way for a safer and inclusive digital ecosystem for the public good. This is vital to learn how to navigate the media literacy and engage people with traditional and digital platforms to combat misinformation and disinformation within the society. Wan Lukman Officer, Aman Jordan for RTM.
Germany to shut down all Iranian consulates. Details right after this. The German Foreign Ministry on Thursday said it will shut all 3 Iranian consulates on its territory in reaction to the execution of a German-Iranian national, but will allow Tehran's embassy to remain open. Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock said in New York cited diplomatic relations between Germany and Iran as already more than at a low point.
Haben Teheran immer wieder unmissverständlich klargemacht, dass die Hinrichtung eines deutschen Staatsangehörigen schwerwiegende Folgen haben wird. Daher habe ich entschieden, die 3 iranischen Generalkonsulate in Frankfurt am Main, München und Hamburg zu schließen.
Germany has already recalled its ambassador to Iran over Jamshid Shahmad's execution and summoned the Iranian chargé d'affaires to voice Berlin's protest. Iranian state media said Shahmad was put to death after he was convicted of carrying out terrorist attacks. Baerbock condemned Iran for playing politics with hostages and accused Tehran of trying to use Germany's support for Israel in the widening Middle East conflict to justify Shahmad's killing. The Bank of Japan, BOJ, maintained ultra-low interest rates on Thursday, but said risks surrounding the United States economy were somewhat subsiding, signaling that conditions are falling into a place to raise interest rates again. The central bank also projected inflation to move around its 2% target in coming years, stressing its resolve to keep hiking borrowing costs if the economy sustains a moderate recovery. According to Governor Kazuo Ueda, domestic data shows that wages and prices are moving in line with BOJ forecasts. As widely expected, the BOJ kept short-term interest rates at 0.25% at its 2-day meeting. It's first since an inconclusive general election that analysts say will complicate efforts to normalize interest rates after years of ultra-easy policy. The BOJ ended negative rates in March and raised short-term rates to 0.25% in July on the view Japan was making progress towards sustainably achieving its 2% inflation target. Ueda has repeatedly said the BOJ will keep raising rates if the economy moves in line with its forecast. He has also said the bank was in no rush as inflation remained moderate. A Pennsylvania state judge said on Thursday he would not immediately move forward with a lawsuit that seeks to stop Elon Musk's $1 million voter giveaway ahead of the United States presidential election. At a hearing in Pennsylvania, Judge Angelo Foglietta said he would place the lawsuit on hold while a federal court considers whether to take up the case. Musk's bid to move the case frees him to continue the giveaway because the matter likely won't be resolved until after Tuesday's election. The billionaire entrepreneur, who is spending heavily to back Republican Donald Trump, had been ordered to attend the hearing but did not appear. Philadelphia District Attorney Larry Krasner is seeking to hold the giveaway less than a week before the tightly contested presidential election between Trump and Democrat Kamala Harris. Musk has been giving $1 million checks to randomly selected people who sign a petition pledging support for free speech and gun rights. The offer is limited to registered voters in one of 7 states that will likely decide the outcome of the election: Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. In defiance of a government ban, revelers in Delhi set off firecrackers to celebrate Diwali, one of India's largest festivals, even as the city grapples with a worsening air pollution crisis. And across India, Hindus celebrate with gatherings, prayers, feasts, and firework displays, though Delhi's air quality continues to decline as winter approaches. New Delhi is home to more than 30 million people and is regularly ranked as one of the most polluted urban areas on the planet. The city is blanketed in acrid smog each year, primarily blamed on stubble burning by farmers in neighbouring regions to clear their fields for ploughing. New Delhi this month ordered a complete ban on all firecrackers, both their manufacture and sale, in view of the public interest to curb high air pollution. Previous restrictions were routinely ignored. Police are often reluctant to act against violators given the strong religious sentiments attached to the crackers by Hindu devotees. Diwali, known as the Festival of Lights, commemorates the return of the Hindu deity Lord Ram to his kingdom after 14 years in exile. Kenya's High Court on Thursday lifted orders barring the swearing-in of newly appointed Deputy President Ikuti Kindiki, whose predecessor has launched legal challenges over his removal from office by impeachment. The legal team of his predecessor, Rigathi Gachagua, objected to the decision, claiming they were not given a fair hearing and that the court has sidestepped questions about Kindiki's qualifications. Earlier this month, the Senate voted to uphold 5 out of 11 charges against Gachagua, including gross violation of the Constitution and stirring ethnic hatred, accusations that he has denied and dismissed as politically motivated. President William Ruto subsequently chose Interior Minister Ikuti Kindiki as his new deputy, but the court blocked his appointment. Gashagua's legal challenges extend months of political turmoil in Kenya, East Africa's largest economy, that began with nationwide protests against unpopular tax hikes in June. His impeachment followed a rift with Ruto that has soured their relationship since they ran together in an election 2 years ago. Coming up in sports, Alcaraz makes shock exit from Paris Masters. World number 2 Carlos Alcaraz was knocked out of the Paris Masters by 18th-ranked Hugo Humbert of France, who swept to a third-round victory in 3 sets on Thursday. Elsewhere, Alexander Zverev secured his spot in the last 8 with a 6-4, 3-6, 6-3 win over French youngster Arthur Fils. Roared on by a raucous home crowd at the Bercy Arena, Fils fought back from a set down to heap pressure under third-seeded German. Zverev held firm, however, and fended off 3 break points when serving for the match at 5-3 in the third to close out the victory. Next up for Zverev is 10th seed Greek Stefanos Tsitsipas, who overcame Francisco Cerundolo of Argentina 6-7, 6-4 and 6-2. The victory keeps alive Tsitsipas' hopes of reaching the end-of-year ATP finals in Turin, but he will need to make a run to at least the final to move inside the top 8 of the world rankings. Ruud van Nistelrooy is well aware that his interim manager stint at Manchester United will be a short one, but the Dutchman expressed hope to still be in charge for this weekend's Premier League clash at home to Chelsea. The temporary coach got off to a winning start with a 5-2 League Cup quarter-final win over visitors Leicester City. It was suggested he will still be there for the game with Chelsea on Sunday.
I'm guessing that too. So yes, as I said, it's going to be a short job as an interim. That was communicated very clear, and I was happy with that. And then obviously it was difficult, that Eric had to leave. I was very disappointed, obviously with mixed feelings. But after that, you have to switch and the mindset to win, because in the end 75,000 people waiting and celebrating and millions watching at home.
Van Nistelrooy, while upset about the departure of compatriot Ten Hag, knows in this job it is results that matter.
No, I think in the end it's also clear in football that the results, it's the results, and Eric also said, hey, we, as you say, in pre-season we had the new staff and all very positive and working hard to bring the club forward. And obviously there's things you can't explain sometimes.
Talks are reportedly ongoing between United and Sporting, with Ruben Amorim saying he will not provide any news until after his side's next game on Friday. And Van Nistelrooy too was giving nothing away when asked about the Portuguese coach. Al-Ittihad claimed bragging rights in the Jeddah Derby on a 1-0 win at home to Al Ahly. The result means the victors are level on points with Al Hilal at the top of the Saudi Pro League. With their top goal scorer Karim Benzema sidelined due to a muscle injury, and it was Saudi striker Saleh Al-Shari who stepped up for Laurent Blanc's side just before halftime, netting the game's only goal off a Musa Daibi assist. Ivory Coast international and former Barcelona and Milan midfielder Franck Kessie would find the back of the net for the visitors in the second half, but the goal was ruled out for offside. The result sees second place Al-Ittihad draw level on 24 points with Al Hilal, who remain top of the league on goal difference. Al Ahly meanwhile sit 8th on 11 points. Real Madrid have announced they are donating €1 million to help the victims of the deadly floods in the Valencian region, which have killed at least 155 people. The donation is part of a fundraising campaign launched by the Real Madrid Foundation and the Red Cross to provide support to those impacted by the storm. Earlier, the club's La Liga clash away to Valencia on Saturday was postponed, along with all soccer matches scheduled to be played in the Valencian region this weekend by the Spanish Football Federation, RFEF. On Wednesday, the RFEF postponed 6 midweek Copa del Rey matches featuring La Liga clubs like Valencia, Getafe and Real Sociedad after authorities advised against all non-essential travel in the region. Then meanwhile, MotoGP riders were uncertain about staging the season's final race in Valencia following the devastating flooding that has wreaked havoc on the region. The extreme weather has also affected the Circuit Ricardo Tormo, which hosts the season-ending Valencia Grand Prix. MotoGP said the circuit itself was in good condition, adding that they were committed to holding the race on the scheduled date. The season-ending race will likely decide the outcome of the championship, with the tussle between Pramac Racing's Jorge Martin and Ducati's two-times champion Francesco Bagnaia set to go down to the wire. Martin is on 453 points heading into the season's penultimate race in Malaysia this week, while Bagnaia is second in the standings on 436. Championship leader Martin urged Dorna Sports to take a call on the race as soon as possible.
I think Valencia will be difficult because even if the track is soft, and everything is good, I think just for, it's a difficult situation, and I think just for respect for the people over there. I think also in terms of logistics, I don't know how is the track exactly, so maybe we cannot be full crowded. So at the end of the day, it will be difficult. I think the best option will be to race elsewhere. But I think Dorna or MotoGP will do the best thing and the best choice for sure.
Bagnaia said he was also unsure about staging the race in Valencia.
Racing there, it's like a party. It's like a moment to enjoy, and knowing that the situation right now is what it is not correct. And we were always super respectful about what is happening around the world. In any case, if it was my choice, I will prefer to don't race there. But I'm not the one to have to decide it. And what Dorna will decide will be good and fair. But I think we have many more options to try.
And that wraps up World Today this time around. In our top story this afternoon, good progress made towards Israeli ceasefire in Lebanon. Malaysia Madani, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Renee Fong. Thanks for watching and have a pleasant afternoon.